Yes, hello, this is Outi Remes from New Ashgate Gallery, and I'm here with artist Jackman. Pete's solo exhibition is opening this Saturday at the New Ashgate Gallery. It's titled Icelandic Horizons. And for the next 5 minutes, we would like to discuss the exhibition, the inspiration, a little bit about Pete's process as well. I will be sharing some images of the artwork while Pete is talking about his work. So yeah, sit back and enjoy the interview. Do you want to say just something generic about the work in the exhibition, Pete?
Yes, happy to do that, Oti. Thanks for having me in the gallery again. Always a great pleasure. But the works really are a series of works that have been developed on following a number of visits to Iceland over the last 5 years, and they're really a progression of studies in the landscape, some of which are based on sketches on site, some of which are worked from photographs, and the media really I'm using is either a acrylic on canvas or pastel and chalk drawing. They're all landscapes. Some are landscapes viewed from afar, and the horizon is sort of the key thing. Iceland is a country of big open skies. I think in your mind's eye, you often have an image of it as being quite mountainous and rugged, but in reality, it's actually relatively flat with topography that's quite local. So you get big mountains and volcanoes in generally flat landscape. So the works really all feature this horizon theme. The only departure from that really is where I'm looking down at a particular piece of local landscape, and I might be sort of drawing boulders and sort of more sort of smaller scale features. But the horizon is definitely the dominant feature. And as this group of works has evolved, it's become much more prominent, I think, in some of the earlier works that appeared in some of the earlier shows. So this really is very much about the split horizon, the sky and the land, and really the features that appear on that plane.
And is Icelandic special place for you? Why is it such an interesting place to paint?
It is. I think the thing is, it is just landscape. There's really nothing else there. When you look at the open sort of countryside, there are really no trees. There's no housing or sort of development in most of the areas that we were going to, and very little in the way of vegetation. So you really are looking at just raw landscape, and it's unmanaged. Most of it is as geology left it. So it's a real opportunity to study landscape as it appears in its natural form, rather than the managed landscape that I guess we're all familiar with from our sittings here in sort of southern climes. So yeah, I guess that's the thing that has appealed to me most about it, is it engages you at that level, sort of really quite a visceral way, really.
And do you want to say something about the process of painting? How do you start a painting?
Yeah, generally I start either working from sketchbook work or from photographs, and I have a location in mind as a rule, and it may be a specific view at that location, it may be a collection of views, and the base drawing tends to be on the canvas or the paper, and a fairly literal view of that place. But as the work progresses and I start building up layers of media over the top, that becomes kind of secondary, really, and things start to develop a life of their own, really, and elements that more abstract elements that of certain shapes of rocks or the side of a hill might get put into the picture, but in a less sort of faithful way. So it becomes like a little motif that I use, and I might use it again and again and again. The works often are painted over maybe 10, 20, 30 times, and I'll cover them up. I'll then rub back through or scratch through or scrape through, using sort of, sometimes when I was there, I was picking up bits of wood or stone from the area, and I quite often use those as my sort of drawing tools to kind of, again, just have that connection with the place. I mean, it's a little bit of an artificial sort of approach, but it kind of just, I don't know, helps me along a bit. So I'll then look at the work for quite a long time, and I'll put it on the wall, and I'll just sit and live with it for a period until I think, yes, that needs more work here or more layers. I mean, it's rare that I never really finish anything and put it on the wall and think that's done. It always goes back down and gets reworked, sometimes almost completely destroyed and started again. So it's kind of an iterative process, and I might have 4 or 5 pieces on the go at the same time, and they tend to inform each other a bit, and quite often they're the same location. So within the exhibition, there are kind of small series of the same location where those works probably were done at the same time, and there might be there's other works that have kind of fallen by the wayside as well. So it's a collective approach really for those pieces, and then at some point I'll put them aside, and that may be finished, or they may not, and they get reworked again. So yeah, it's quite a long process. It takes, you know, maybe 6 months to finish a work. And the pastels are very similar. I mean, I was thinking about the paintings there, but the pastels essentially is the same approach, but using a wax and chalk combination, and then I'll be shading with graphite. And again, it's layers of soft wax and chalks rubbed together to create a slightly harder surface than you get with a normal wax pastel.
Thank you. I think that's all questions that we have for today. The exhibition is open until 6th of March, and you can access it at the moment online at www.newashgate.org.uk. And do keep an eye on our website as well for any news about opening. And yes, any questions at all, do give us a ring or contact us by email. Thank you very much, Pete, and thank you everyone for joining us today. Hope you enjoyed it.